What's up, guys? You know how women have their list of red flags or things they're looking for in a man? What I did was months ago, I put in my calendar, I put this event, which is basically just like a daily reminder of a list of things that my wife would have to have in order for her to be my wife. And the way I like to think about this list is I like to think about it as, and this is what I kind of thought of it as before I found the girl that I'm with now, but I would basically look at it as this is the list of things that will most likely keep me single forever. And these are things I'm not willing to budge on. These are things that I've thought about very, very deeply. There's an explanation behind every single thing I'm about to say. And these are basically 9 things that my wife would have to have in order for her to be my wife. Period. The first one is that she has to be resolution oriented. So when there's a disagreement or when there's some sort of rift, we need to both be working towards finding a solution to that. It doesn't mean that we have to have a conversation about it right away. It could mean that we delay the conversation and we say, hey, this is a hot topic. Emotions are high. Let's delay the conversation until tomorrow. But when we do have that conversation, it has to be a resolution oriented conversation. It's not going to be nitpicking. It's not going to be arguing. Or in that case, we need to dissolve the situation because life is already hard enough. Your spouse or your person is supposed to be a safe place. It's supposed to be something to bring you peace. And I'm not trying to be going to war in my house. The second one I kind of touched on, if she needs time, she's going to let me know. So if the conversation is too difficult, if there's crying involved, if the person feels attacked in any way and they want to take a break and they want to kind of regroup and talk about it tomorrow, that's okay. But it needs to be done in a respectful manner, not ignoring, not slamming cupboards, not throwing attitude, not being passive aggressive. It needs to be done in a respectful and in a loving manner if possible. It could sound something like, hey, baby, this is really hard for me to talk about right now. I love you, but I think we should talk about it tomorrow. Maybe we should sleep on it. Maybe we should try to just separate for a little bit and come back to it when we both calm down. That's acceptable. Third one, a lot of people might not like, but there's, like I said, with each of these, there's a deep reason why it has to happen for me and the reason why it's on this list. So the third one is that she has to do legs twice a week. Now, there's a bunch of health reasons for this. When you do legs, particularly squats, you're using almost every muscle in the body. So it's a self love action for me. It's also a self preservation decision, in my opinion. I think that if you're an able bodied human being, you should use your body in a way that makes sense, that will prolong it and continue to give you the functions that are necessary when you're in an older age. I'm going to do this for myself. And basically, as a fitness person or as a person who enjoys to take care of his body, do actions of self love for myself, that's going to make my future self happy. I would like my person to also do legs twice a week. It's not cardio twice a week. I'm not telling them they got to run miles. It's the bare minimum. It's a woman, right? So most women do legs 3 times a week and they do back and all these other things. All I'm saying is that every 72 hours on average to do legs for 45 minutes. That's all. If you're not willing to do that, there's going to be such a separation between me and you at 50 and 60. Like, you might need help getting up from the toilet when you're 75, and I don't want that burden on me. And I know that a lot of people will be like, oh, well, that's your wife. It's not a burden. Bro, it is a burden because it's a choice that you made 30 years ago to not take care of yourself and to not stick to this self-love action. And now you're going to be paying for it every day. And I'm going to have to be the person to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. All you got to do is do it twice a week. Every single day when I go to the gym, I won't say every day, but most days I go to the gym now. I've been doing it for like 15 years or something. I don't know. I've been doing it for like 10 years straight, pretty much on average every other day on average. Most likely it was probably like pretty much every day, maybe 5 out of 7 days a week. I'm not always motivated to go. I'm going today. I'm not excited about it. I do it because when I'm 90, I'm going to appreciate the fact that I kept doing this, and I'm going to feel the self love that I've been giving myself the entire time. And when I'm 90, I want to be able to get up. I want to be able to go on a hike. I want to be able to see my grandkids. So that's the reason for that. If you don't agree with it, then honestly, it's your opinion. But for me, it's something that's necessary. Fourth one is no girls trips. This is pretty self explanatory. Girls trips are just not a good idea. A lot of times, even if your woman's the good woman, her friend's not. They're never going to tell you the stuff she did. They're never going to tell you how they tried to push her to go mess around with that guy or to drink shots off of his stomach or whatever people do on girls' trips. They always end up trying to do things that they wouldn't typically do when they're at home. I've been the guy that has been on the other end of a girl's trip, and she's over here and she's married and she has a boyfriend and all that type of stuff. And she's a good woman. It's just that He'll never find out. She thinks she can separate having a little fun from what she would do in her regular day-to-day life. But the actions that take place on a girl's trip, they affect the relationship when women go back home. So it's just a bad idea, and it's not something I'm willing to condone. Number five, she doesn't smoke anything consistently. And I'll be honest about this one. This one's because I've been a smoker before as far as THC, and it hasn't been a productive thing for me. And although I never let it negatively affect any of my dreams or goals or anything, it's just something that slows me down. And something we all have to realize is when our partner does something consistently, we're going to do it at least some of the time. And that's going to have a certain percentage decrease in productivity, in my opinion. So if my girl is smoking vapes or smoking cigarettes or smoking every day before bed or whatever it is as a routine, some of the days I'm sure I'm going to want to do it. I'm sure I'm going to have some random urge on a random day where I had a long day and I want to have some sort of relief or take the edge off. It's going to be more likely that I try that. And I just want to keep those pathways closed, and that leads to more of a healthy lifestyle for me. I also have an addictive personality, so I have to be careful about things I introduce to my life. So my girl smoking anything consistently, whether that's THC, vapes, anything like that, I'm not going to be able to do it because at the end of the day, that's going to affect me negatively. And I think about myself as loving myself objectively, not just like what I feel like doing or what I want to do in the moment, but what's truly going to be best for me, for my future self. And that wouldn't work for me. Number six, she doesn't withhold sex for compliance. And a lot of women don't think that they do that. They don't think that they would do that, but there's little ways you can do it. There's women who don't necessarily withhold sex for compliance, but they'll just be much, much less enthusiastic when things are going wrong. And they know that they're sending a message to their man. And there's women who downright will not touch you or will not allow you to touch them or be physical with them in any way unless you do certain things like mow the lawn, go to her family dinner thing, go to the little party that she wants you to go to with her work friends or make her look good or send her flowers. And then when you do all that stuff, she also loses respect for you because you're basically just doing whatever you can do in order to get some sex, which is weak in her mind. Number seven, she drinks occasionally at best. I just don't want to be with an alcoholic. I don't want to be with somebody who has a tendency to drink a lot. I don't want to be with somebody whose habits look like they might lead to alcoholism. I'd rather be with somebody who can have a drink on every other Friday or every other Saturday, or just kind of do it without making it like a big deal. Somebody who has a healthy relationship with alcohol. And again, that has to do with me thinking about my future self and what habits I want to avoid. I don't want these pathways to be open. I don't want there to be a possibility that I fall into any type of alcoholism. Number eight, activities without me end at 10. Now, obviously, everything's a conversation, which basically means she would be home by 10:30. So I'll say activities without me leads her to be home by 10:30. And I feel like that's reasonable. I mean, work dinners and stuff like that, usually those things are over by 9. Pretty much nothing positive is happening after 10:30. Nothing positive is happening late into the night, early into the morning. Most of the bad decisions women make come at night. Most of the diseases caught come at night. Most of the regret happens at night. And this goes for me too. I don't do this now. Me and my girl, we don't do these things. We don't stay out to 10:30. We don't go on girls trips. I don't go on guys trips. I don't do any of that stuff. And this is something that I have to follow myself. I'm not just making up these rules and it's one-sided. There's different versions of it for me, but I have my set of rules that I set for myself too in order to put respect on my woman as well. So it's not a selfish thing. This might look like a selfish list, but it's really not. It's honestly for us to make sure that we maintain respect throughout our relationship and we take care of it because a relationship is something you got to nurture, something you got to really closely look at and take care of. It's so easy nowadays to let something slip or ignore something, and then it ends up being the reason your relationship ends. So you got to pay attention to all these factors, and you got to have clear boundaries that you guys follow. And this last one might piss off a lot of people, but she must be willing to wait 18 months for an engagement. So that would be 2 years for a marriage. A lot of people try to get engaged or married within like a year, or try to get an engagement within 6 months. I had somebody try to do that with me where she brought up rings on a random day, trying to force the relationship to be like pushed forward. And that's just a lot of pressure. I think it takes an entire year to see your woman in all different types of situations. And for women, you too, it takes an entire year to see if the dude is really who he says he is, if those routines really stick, if he really makes the money he seems like he makes. You'll see him go through ebbs and flows with all these things, and you'll see how he handles it, and you'll know the character and the person that you're actually choosing. So if a woman's not willing to wait 18 months in order to get an engagement, really it's not even about you. You're just a silhouette. She'll pick somebody else. She's looking for a way out. She's looking for a savior. She's looking for something that's not you. and you deserve better than that. Relationships take time. Forming a connection takes time. Seeing the person in different situations take time. So I think at least a year, 18 months for an engagement, that's reasonable. But women who are in their late 30s, they're not going to want that. They're going to want to push you through and make things happen fast. They're going to tell you that they want to have a kid. They're just going to put you in a situation where you end up speeding up the process, and the only person that's going to fail in that process is you. Because when they leave you, they don't see it as a loss, but you could lose your assets, you could lose your self-respect. You could end up having to go through a divorce where you lose money, you lose property, all because you didn't take your time. Don't let anybody rush you through anything. So that's my list of 10 things. Hopefully you guys appreciate the transparency, because honestly, none of this is required for any of you. I'm just talking. This is just what I kind of require. And it's just the way I see relationships. And it's to give myself some safeguards, because to be honest, I'm a lover at heart and I see the best in people. So I have to give myself like actual limitations and structure when it comes to this stuff. Or I feel like somebody could kind of swoop in and get me to wane. The person I pick is the person I want to. I kind of got rushed through because I do this while I'm in the car circle, but hopefully the reasoning behind all these made sense. I don't want this video to be super long, but these are my 9 things that are absolutely required for me to have a wife. And I'm open to marriage. I plan on marrying the woman that I'm with. It's just that all these things have to be met, and she knows that. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe. Talk to you guys next time.